A little bit about, I read your book, which I can't find now, but I have it somewhere.
Oh, that whole. Oh, you mean my memoir?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
still
good.
running. Still running. And you didn't even get to the sex bit until later in the book. I was looking for the salacious stuff, but
No, it isn't salacious, by the
one can
way.
only hope. That's how I go. But
Your dad was very involved. He was an enormous help
right.
to us.
But he said that you were the one there for the long run. You were the one who didn't quit. You're the one who kept pushing. You're the one who just didn't go away, basically.
Yeah.
But what about just for the audience? What about your early childhood life? It seems like you grew up kind of in like a partition family, not a partition, like not partisan. I can't even find the right words. But you grew up wealthy in New
Yes,
York.
privilege is
Privilege
the
is the
word
term now we use?
I
Right.
use. Very, very privileged. There's no question about that.
Nothing wrong with that, though, was it?
No, no, but I'm not sure that I really. Over time, I learned about people who weren't privileged. Sometimes people who are privileged live in a cocoon. I mean, we went back and forth from an apartment in New York City to a beautiful farm in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh, I thought it was Lincroft. Oh.
Well, yeah, right next to each
Gotcha.
other. Yeah, you're right. And, there were servants. There wasn't anything that I was denied. If I had a pony, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I had a lot. And that it took a while for me to understand, the needs of others. And one of the people who really made a difference in my life is Robert Kennedy. My husband worked for JFK. He was the deputy director of the United States Information Agency. And we met Bobby and Ethel Kennedy, who became our friends. And Bobby, his brother, the president, asked him to go on a round-the-world trip.
In 1962, we're talking
Exactly, in 1962. And Bobby suggested that I come along, it was a very small group of people, maybe a handful of press.
So he's the Attorney General this time, too.
Exactly. He was the Attorney General, and the president asked him to go to Asia, to start in Japan, go to Hong Kong, Indonesia, and acquaint the leaders of these countries with the new administration. This is February of 1962. So they invited me to go. As to make it more legitimate, they suggested that I deal with McCall magazine and try to get them to send me as a reporter and to pay for my travel. And I did get McCall's. I had worked at Life as a reporter,
Okay.
so it made sense.
So you had some background, too. Legit.
Yes. Anyway, I went as a reporter, although I was the only woman other than Ethel. So I was very fortunate. I sort of stayed with Bobby and Ethel when they stayed in presidential palaces and
Wow.
U.S. embassies and things like that. But anyway, to make this point, Bobby and Ethel, wherever we were, they always asked to see how the very poorest people lived. And I just remember that, and it particularly with the sisters of the poor. I mean, the Catholic nuns at that point in their, sort of history, really cared for the people who were most in need of care. Mm-hmm. So I really was exposed to poor people, and what their needs were for the first time in my life.
Well, what did you see? If you can be more specific, just to.
Well, we went to, I guess, places where the nuns were feeding people, or we saw people with very large families who, you knew must be struggling,
right.
Various things like that. It wasn't one thing, it was more sort of a collective thing. And these sisters were always there for these people. And I was very moved by that. I had never sort of encountered the Catholic faith, seeing it sort of play out. And they really do care, or they try to care for those at the very least.
The most dispossessed, it seems, in the poorer countries, or any place.
Yes, that's true. But anyway, besides sort of seeing how presidents and prime ministers lived, I also saw how poor people live. I'm not sure that people who travel even, get the opportunity to see, how poor people live in the world and what their needs are and various things like that. So that really influenced me to sort of change my direction, I guess. And then eventually I worked for the poverty program here in New Jersey. There was a war on poverty. And I joined a group of people in Trenton and did some work there. So that was very an important influence on my way of thinking too.